11.4, circumference and arc length. Okay, a circumference of a circle is not a new equation to you. It should be just a review of what you already know. The circumference C of a circle is 2 times D. What do you think D stands for?
Diameter.
Diameter. It is 2D or, no, it is not 2D. Sorry. It is D times pi, or it is 2 pi times R. And what's R stand for? Radius. Okay, why are these two things equivalent? That's what goes over here too. Why are those two things equivalent?
Like radius is half the diameter.
Right, radius is half a diameter, so if I took 2 times the radius, I have the diameter, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they give me the radius, I'm using 2 pi r, right? If they give me the diameter, I'm just using diameter times pi. There is a pi button on your calculator. For the most part, I think it doesn't say to round or anything, so just leave it the exact answer. I'm okay with that. You could put a few into your calculator, but it's not going to be my big push for that. Okay, it says find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 11 meters. So which one are we going to use?
2 pi r.
Okay, so circumference equals 2 pi r. I will not give you this on the test. You should know that, correct?
Well, we have to show like what we're doing, like which one we're doing each time.
No, but on your homework would be a good thing to do so it sticks. Okay, so I have 2 times 11 times pi, right? So that gives me 22 pi meters. And this isn't squared because I'm not taking a meter times a meter, am I?
Do you have to take 22 times 3.14?
There is a pi button on your calculator and you need to use it. We're not going to, 3.14 is something we should know, but there's a pi button on your calculator and you should use it. And if you do that, you would get approximately 69.1 meters.
How do you
Do that.
whenever I'm
Oh,
doing
I
it,
see.
it's just giving me 22 and then the pi sign.
Yeah, that's what I get to.
And then you hit, okay. So that's a good thing. On these calculators, if you wanted to give you a decimal, put 22 point and then times pi. And then it should give you a decimal.
69.
Did it?
Syntax error.
Mine has a button
Did
that
you
I
put
push,
times?
and it just gives me
22
the
Yeah.
point.
It's just, if you did the same thing, you wouldn't have to push
Times
the button.
Oh, there.
Can I borrow a calculator? Because I think mine's in my truck. Because I just threw
Well,
my
you
bag
don't
in
need
there.
it. You don't need one today. I mean, you can borrow that one while you're in here, but you can't take it out.
Why?
Because I only have one.
Can I borrow it during 5th hour though? I'll bring it
If you
back.
come back, if you come down and get it, but I need it for next hour. Okay, question? Okay, this one says the circumference with a diameter of 18. So what formula?
Would it be
The
2 times,
diameter.
Nope, just D,
D radius.
what?
D pi.
That's what I meant.
It won't be 2 times.
No, because 2 times, what is 2 times the radius? The diameter. So it's just diameter.
And then it would be 18 pi.
So it would just be 18 pi yards if I wanted an exact answer, yes? Again, if you wanted the decimal in your calculator, put a decimal after 18. Put it in 18 point and then pi.
56.5.
I got 25.1.
How'd you get that?
I got 56.5. Yeah.
They put it in their calculator. Oh, okay. Evidently, I just wrote it down wrong.
Yeah, 56.5.
Okay, 56.5.
Yeah.
And then
4, 8,
yards.
6, 7,
Hey,
7.
make sure you're using your.
Really?
Okay, shh, Juan. I'm trying to record. You can whisper. I'm asking you to whisper. Make sure you're using your approximately symbol when you're approximating. Okay, the next one, I want you to do on your own. Find the circumference of a circle with. I forgot circle in all these, didn't I?
What'd you put?
Okay, next one you're on. Find the circumference of a circle with a diameter. I forgot circle. I know I did. I forgot in the first one, and then I copied and pasted and changed the numbers. So I just forgot the words. Jaden, what formula did you use on this one and why?
Diameter pi, because we found the diameter.
Pi times the diameter because
You have the diameter.
you have the diameter. I don't need to take 2 times it, do I? So 23 pi inches is my exact answer.
I just did. That's it.
You got 72.3?
Alright, how are you guys getting those numbers?
What
wait.
number? Okay, wait a second. I need you to be specific. What numbers?
72.3. How the heck are you guys getting
23 times pi. 23
23.
decimal.
He's confused because when he types it in on his calculator, it just comes up with the 23.
You need to put, we went through this already.
that? No, we didn't.
Yes,
Yeah, we did.
one, we did. Please stop.
Just go.
You need to put a decimal after the 23.
So 23 point times pi. Oh, 72.2.
Okay, the next
Are
one.
we rounding that up to the nearest whatever?
Nearest 10,
Yeah.
or don't. Nearest 10th is fine, or whatever they give me. Okay, the exact radius of a circle with a circumference of 17. So I want the radius. So I need to start with what formula?
2 times.
Circumference equals 2 what?
Pi radius.
Pi r, right?
Yeah.
And what did they give me?
They gave the circumference, which is 17 inches.
So I 17 equals 2 pi r. Well, this is all multiplication over on the right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I just divide, don't I?
Yeah.
So r equals 17 over 2 pi. So in your calculator, you're going to do this all one time, and you need to pay attention, please.
Can I finish writing?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to put radius on the end of that thing?
How do you get radius out there?
I have 17 equals 2 pi r. I divided by 2 pi, so this is r. Okay, so the radius is 17 over 2 pi inches, but that means nothing to me, correct? I mean, that means nothing in our brain.
No.
So I have to put this in my calculator. You need to put it in your calculator. 17 divided by parenthesis 2 pi. And I don't think you need to put a decimal. I think it will give you a fraction. Like, I think it will give you
Or
the decimal.
can you put that as a fraction too if you wanted to as well? The 17
I'd
over
say.
2 pi.
Well, just to divide, it's easier. A diffraction is a division. And then it's less.
2.7.
That's what I got.
Yeah, it's 2.7
Okay. So it's approximately 2.7 what?
inches.
Inches. So they'll have problems like they gotta move around like
Well,
we've
are
been
we
doing.
gonna round that down or up? It's 2.70.
It would be 2.7.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Now, if the problem had 2 decimal places, my answer should have 2 decimal places, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so arc length is new for you. It's a corollary based off of circumference. Okay, so I have this whole circumference right here, yes?
Yeah.
Which was 2 pi r. And now I only want like this arc length made by this. Well, actually, there's an arc length here, a little one, right? But is there also a big one too?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2. And they have to, when I add this length, the small and the big together, that has to be the circumference of the whole circle, doesn't it? Okay, so the equation is, just look at this bottom one right here. Okay, it says the arc length of A to B is equal to the measure of the angle from A to B over 360 times 2 pi r. Well, 2 pi r is the radius of the circle, yes? And this is finding the fraction of that radius. That's all it's doing. Because are there 360 degrees in one circle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're taking the fraction of whatever that angle is and finding if I want a fifth of it, I'm just taking a fifth of the whole circumference. That's all I'm doing. Okay, but this formula looks kind of a little complicated, right? Okay, we're gonna call this angle, this just theta. Or we could call it P, okay? It's a theta, it's a Greek letter, okay? So I'm gonna rewrite this a little bit different. I'm gonna put, and this, I'm gonna say is just S, okay?
The length is
Arc length is S, and arc length, we use S for a variable for arc length as you go further on in math, okay?
Do we just put the S under arc length?
Yep, because arc length equals S.
What's
So-
under art? An
It's
No,
an
it's an
S.
arrow. I was pointing towards it.
A?
Okay, so S equals, well, isn't this just all multiplication here? This and this, isn't
Yeah.
that all multiplication? So I'm just gonna write 2 pi r theta over 360 degrees. So 2 pi r theta, all is what math is happening between all those? 2 pi r theta. Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Times. They're all multiply, right? Doesn't this a little bit easier to look at than all this mess? Okay, what does theta mean? Just the
Whatever.
angle that I want. Now, if I wanted the small between A and B, I would use this red angle, right? But if I wanted the big between A and B, I'd need what angle? I'd need the big angle, wouldn't I?
So arc's the angle, right?
Arc, no, S, arc length is this. From here to here.
Okay. And then theta's the angle.
Theta is the angle in the middle at the center. Okay? Now this equation, it will be available to you on the test because this is a new one. It's not one that you'll know yet until pre-calc. Pretty good. Okay, so it says find the indicated measure. So we're going to be finding different parts and make sure you can see that formula available to you. So I have the arc length of AB. So that means I want this outside here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use just the formula, aren't I? And the formula was S equals 2 pi r. Where's the 2 pi r come from? What is 2 pi r? Isn't that the circumference of a circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're finding a fraction of that circumference, aren't we?
And then it would be 88.
And then times theta divided by what?
360.
360. Because this theta over 360 is going to give me that fraction of the whole radius, or whole circumference. Now, if I had the diameter and not the radius, could I do d pi theta?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm just going to plug in what I have. So S equals 2 pi, and pi is a number, right?
Yeah.
What's R? 2. What's theta? 88 degrees. This is kind of important, guys. Over 360 degrees. Degrees is a unit of measure. So these units of measure reduce. Like this reduces and that reduces. Make sense? Like it'd be like the same as inches. Okay, so let's see.
Put it in your calculator.
Well, I would hope you would reduce that a little bit. What is 2 times 2? 4. Does 4 go into 36?
Yes.
Yes. So this would be 90, wouldn't it? Could I reduce 88 and 90
Yeah.
by what? 2?
Wait, what are you doing?
Reducing.
2 times 2 was 4. 4 goes into 360 90 times. Okay, so by 2,
45 and 44.
okay? So I get 44 pi over 45 meters. Okay?
Where'd you get meters?
Because it says 2m
Okay.
on my picture.
Why don't you have the 4 in there anymore?
Because 2 times, that's why I said when you said put it in my calculator, I said no, not yet, I wanted you to listen. 2 times 2 is 4, yes? 4 goes into 360 90 times.
Yeah.
So we just were reducing. Okay,
Never mind.
Never mind, I can ask.
if you put this all in your calculator before starting, you have to put parentheses around this. Because if you don't, it won't work.
How do you put that in your calculator?
Question?
Just 44 pi divided by 45. It should be exactly like that. Yes.
Nah, I won't ask. It sounds dumb. It's a dumb question anyways. I don't need you to get mad.
You should get approximately 3.7, 3.07.
Meters. You didn't say that.
Well, I wrote it. And I could round that to 3.1, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Now, on your sheet, I want to see, and I want everyone to listen to me. I want to see this exact answer. I want to see an exact reduced answer.
On the worksheet, do you want us to round it up or just?
To the nearest tenth, and I don't know why I didn't put 3.1. To the nearest tenth, unless they say, like, if the problem, like, on the last problem on here, it's 2, it's hundredth, so you would give it in hundreds.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does everyone hear that? To the nearest tenth, or what they give you. Okay, so I want the measure, I want the angle this time, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay, so
You'll have to divide 12.2.
so I'm gonna have to use this thing.
Well, don't you need to do the high now? Because you have one.
Yeah, I don't have to do the 2R, do I? I can just do D. Yeah? But I'm gonna have to rearrange this, aren't I? Okay, so the sector length is what? 38. So I'm gonna have 38 equals, and we said 2 times R is the diameter, isn't it?
Wait,
Yes.
I thought-
2R equals diameter, yes?
Yeah.
Do they give me the diameter?
Yeah.
Yep, so I can just put 12.3 pi, I don't know theta, do I? Over 360. So when I have a fraction and I need to move it to the other side, I multiply by its reciprocal, don't I? Yes? So 360 is going to go in the numerator. And 2.3 pi is going to go in the denominator, isn't it?
You saw the theta thing about?
Well, the theta is what we're solving for.
Don't put that with that.
So
Nope.
we put this thing in our calculator.
We're not even ready to do it yet. Can you wait, please? Okay, so here, the 360 to 360 reduce, yes? The 12.3 pi divided by the 12.35 reduce. What am I left with on that right-hand side? Theta. And theta is the same as saying the measure of the angle subsided by that. Okay, theta is a lot easier than writing that whole other thing, isn't it? Okay, but that's the same, it means the same thing. So over here,
Is that a 0 or theta?
I did it, and it didn't, it's a theta.
What's that line above the RS?
The line that's above the RS and.
The measure of the angle from the arc, RS, that's why we're using theta. Okay, so what does this mean to do what math?
Divide.
Multiply. This right here means multiply, yes? So I'm going to have 38 times 360 degrees, because my answer is going to come out in degree, yes? Over 12.3 pi. When you put this in your calculator, you have to put parentheses around the numerator and the denominator. So you put 38 times 36, parenthesis 38 times 360, parenthesis, divided by, parenthesis, 12.3 pi, parenthesis. If you do not do those, your calculator knows the order of operations, and you're not putting that in your calculator, right? Because it would divide 360 by 12.3, multiply your answer by 38 and then multiply the answer by 3.14, and that's not what we want to do, is it?
Yes, it is.
Parentheses.
So you should get approximately,
I don't even know how to do like a fraction.
you hit divide by.
35, 354.0.
So 354.0 degrees. Now,
Man, I'm smart.
I'm good because I'm less than what? What's it have to be less than?
360.
360. Is it less than 360?
Yeah.
Is that picture drawn to scale?
Yeah. Well,
No. It's definitely not drawn to scale, is it?
How do you know when it's drawn to scale?
Well, because that angle would be a lot bigger if it was like, if this was drawn to scale, this would be more like that angle, wouldn't it? Okay, now it wants arc length again, so I can just use my basic formula, right?
Yeah.
S equals what?
2 pi.
Over, oh, I forgot my theta, didn't I? Over 360,
Yeah.
okay? So I'm just gonna fill it in.
And then it would be S equals 4 radius
So 4 times 2 is what?
8.
8. So 8 pi times 97 over 360, correct? Now I said we needed to, actually those reduce out. We need to reduce this, so 4 goes in both 8 and 360, yes? So I get 2 and I get 90. Well, 2 goes into 90, doesn't it? 45. So S equals 97 pi over 45. And that would be feet, correct? And now you're ready to put it in your calculator because you've reduced it all the way.
I don't know where the-
Where'd you guys go?
6.7.
I got 2.2.
I got 6.8.
6.7.
I
If
got
you round it.
6.77.
If you round it.
Well, 6.77 would be 6.8.
Hang on.
But you told us not to
I
round.
got 6.
No,
she
I
said
didn't.
round.
I swear you said don't round.
She said
No,
round.
you had one of them that was like a
Six.
0.0 or 0.02, so it wouldn't.
Where are you getting this 45 from? though?
Okay.
That doesn't really make sense.
Look, 8 and 360, 4 goes into both. 4 goes into 8 twice. 4 goes into 360, 90 times. 2 goes into 90. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 90, 45.
What? Say what?
You just
I'm just reducing the fraction. I had 8 over 360, and it reduced down to 2 over 90. Well, they're both even still, so it's 1 over 45. I'm just reducing the fraction.
I'll just figure it out.
Okay.
I guess.
So now it wants the circumference of the circle. Well, circumference is 2 pi r, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So what could I do?
Um,
So like the circumference is in the sector formula, isn't it? Arc length formula, like it's in there.
distance divided by radius.
What do you mean by distance?
Or the diameter. Never mind.
Well, we have an arc length and we have an angle. Those are the only 2 things I have, yes? Yeah? So I almost have to use the arc length formula, correct? I mean, I have to use this, don't I? Because it's the only things I have, right?
Yeah.
Well, 3.44 is the S, isn't it? Okay, so 3.44 equals 2 pi r times theta, which is 60 over 360. Now, the last time I just multiplied by the reciprocal right away, but doesn't 60 go into 360? Yeah, 6 times, doesn't it? So 60 goes into 61, 60 goes into 366 times. Does 2 still go into 6? 1 time? No, 3 times. 2 goes into 2 ones. 6 3 times, right? So now I have 3.44 equals pi r over 3. So we need to remember that pi is a number, isn't it? And I want r left. So I need to multiply by that reciprocal. So 3 over what? 3 over pi. And 3 over pi. So the pi's reduced, the 3's reduced, so I have r equals 3 times 3.44 divided by pi. Oh, and it's going to be centimeters when I'm done, I forgot. So I just took that formula, plugged things in, and moved it around, didn't I? If you remember, this just has circumference in it. It's a pretty easy formula to remember.
3.3.
Okay, now, how many decimal places are we going to give on this one?
1.
2.
2, because in here it's 3.44, so my answer better have 2, right?
Yeah.
So I get 3.28. Kyson, you match?
3.28. Yes,
And then centimeters.
I guess.